Hey everyone, and welcome to episode 77 of My Mom Sandy. We are your hosts. I am Josh Fasten, and the woman next to me is selling portable air conditioning units on the black market. This is My Mom Sandy.
I am not. They don't work. I actually tried to buy one last year for my mother, and that was quite a fiasco.
I feel like we talked about that. Did we talk about that? You bought like little miniature...
You mean we talked about that on the podcast
I think we talked about
before?
that on the podcast.
We might have.
So I got...
Blau, B-L-A-U-X.
Below.
Blau.
What happened?
I had to send them back. They were like nothing. They were like not even a fucking fan. I don't know. I mean, I tell you, you watch the infomercials and supposedly some independent people are like rating these things, and they take your room from 92 degrees down to 72 in a matter of minutes. That's such bullshit. Anyway.
Didn't work for you?
No, I had to send them back.
All right.
So anyway, so what's up? So
you got me. So we just had a situation where Southern California, where we live, has been getting warmer. And I said to you, I said, hey, I think I want to get a portable, because you bought a portable air conditioning unit for yourself 3 years ago, 5 years ago,
maybe 3-4 years ago. I don't know. It just got unbearable. There's just times here when
it gets hot.
It gets very
hot.
And this isn't even the worst. When we have a Santa Ana condition, it'll be really bad.
I call them Sanantas.
Sanantas.
And so we're in end of June, early July. And it was already, I mean, we've already had days where like I've gone grocery shopping and I'll be driving home and it's 81, 82 degrees middle of the day. And I'm like,
I'll tell you, people on the East Coast are probably laughing at you going, are you fucking kidding me? People in Arizona are probably like, it's 113 here, bud.
I'm sure we have so many East Coast listeners.
But I know, but what happens is you do get you get acclimated to the environment that you're in. And so when it does get warm, you really feel it. So,
well, and this is not the hockey game that you have on, but the dry heat is actually tolerable.
What channel is it on?
I don't know. This is not it. I don't recognize any people of those.
69 NBC Sports.
The dry heat, I feel like, is doable. It's the humidity. It's like the Florida, even like New York. But I don't ever remember us having the humidity here in the South Bay like we're getting now. Like, it's fucking humid. It gets hot and it gets humid.
Yeah, and then there's like no breeze. If you don't have your windows on the right side of your house, then you probably don't get any air coming
on the right side, or like the right side?
The right side, like whichever way the wind's blowing kind of side, you know?
So I said to you, I said, I think I might need to get, this might be the year. Because I put it off. And the reason I put it off is because it always felt like that thing where I was like, well, you know, it started off where there'd be like a week where it'd be really hot and miserable. And then it was like, oh, it'll be 2 weeks. No, it'll be a month. And I would always be like, oh, I'll keep the fan going.
I've asked you, when you lived here, I told you should get one.
Yeah. And I was like, I'm okay.
Yeah.
And I feel like with this year now, with it getting hotter so early in the year, because sometimes you don't get like the real hot until like July, August. But now I feel like it's you know, I mean, we're just now starting July and it's hot, it's humid. So I said, all right. I said, look, I checked Costco. They had them in store, but then I couldn't find them on the online. You said you were going to try Sam's Club, and you got one. You found one.
Yeah, that was kind of a hassle just to get that, because I had to. First, I was going to have it shipped to your house, and then I went in. It didn't say. There were several models that were out of stock. So I found one that was in stock, and it's like the same one as me, but it's for 500 square feet instead of, I think mine's 700 square feet. Anyway, so I went to order it to have them delivered to you, and went through the whole checkout process, and then they came back and told me the item was out of stock. So I'm like, okay, great. Can I order it for pickup in a store? So I tried to order it for pickup in Gardena. Not available. Then I tried to order it for pickup in Torrance. It was available. And even then I'm like, okay, are they screwing with me?
Right.
Are they going to send me an email back that says,
sorry.
Yeah, sorry,
sold
out of
our last
stock.
one today.
Yeah, exactly. So, and I arranged for pickup for the next day. So it was, but yeah, I kind of feel weird that, I'm doing your errands for you. You should be doing my errands for me.
I do. So I didn't, and I mean, but look, I also didn't, because I've never bought one. Like, I didn't know what, I didn't know how many, like the BTUs, The BUs?
I don't know.
I don't know.
BTS, BTUS.
Behind the scenes?
I don't know what it is.
But there was all these things I didn't know. So I'm like, all right, look, if you have one and you like it, just like find me something comparable, which you did. So I got it all set up the other night. I need to tell. So the first night, because it's been 2 nights now. The first night, I think I set it to like 71.
Ooh, cold.
No, I mean it was fairly. I mean it was warm. They actually say, I read an article. They say that 68 degrees is the prime sleeping temperature that you want it to be at.
Could I set mine in my room at like 74 usually?
Way too hot. Way too hot.
It seems fine because sometimes it'll take it down to 73 and then it'll go up to 75 as it's regulating its temperature. But so I don't know. It just seems, that's just weird. You must be really, why are you running so warm?
I've always warm.
Warm run.
Warm.
Run warm.
Warm.
Are you making up new words now?
I've always ran warm. I've always ran with the warm kids.
Yeah. Okay.
So anyway, so then last night I set mine to 65. And I can tell you, I officially now know what heaven feels like. And I'm not scared to die.
Get out.
It's great.
As my father would say, spoken as somebody who's not even anywhere close to death. You're not afraid of death anymore because you know what heaven's like.
But you know, it's funny when you walk out, like I'll walk out of my bedroom. So I have it in my bedroom, but
Did you like set up your video games console in your bedroom yet? No.
But
that's coming.
But I walk out of my bedroom and I walk into the hallway and you can feel the difference.
Oh yeah.
You know, I mean, it's 10 degrees hotter in that hallway.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm like, holy shit. So anyway, so that's been great. So thank you for that.
You're welcome.
We didn't do an episode last week. I think it was just like some scheduling. There hasn't really been much to talk about because I don't feel like there's been anything like crazy going on. I did want to touch on this because we talked about it briefly on the phone. But of course everyone knows because we had a big episode about June 15th about the no more masks. But now masks are back. People are like, well, you should be wearing masks, which is like,
I'm not.
No, I know. And I mean, look, I went to the gym this morning. And
I mean, are they saying now? I mean, I just heard it was recommended.
That's what I heard too. Is that the recommendation is to wear masks anytime you're indoors, vaccinated.
But they're also saying though the vaccines, the Pfizer and the Moderna, are proving very effective against the Delta variant.
I heard even the Johnson & Johnson.
They're saying that too. Yeah.
See.
It's just so difficult to understand and to believe what we're hearing because everything's contrary. Everything contradicts this or that, Oh, the vaccines work well, but you should still wear your masks inside. Why?
Right.
Why am I going to wear my fucking mask inside if my vaccine... Okay, I took the fucking risk of taking something that could potentially really destroy my life and maybe already has.
Did you say potentially?
Potentially.
Oh,
potentially.
Like you said.
Potentially. Potentially. Isn't that a word? Could destroy my life. And now you're going to tell me I still got to wear a fucking mask. I mean, I went to see a doctor today and when I was first in there, I asked the gal, I said, can I take my mask off? I mean, I can't breathe through them. I just feel so restricted, and
you have very small nose holes. That's why.
Was that what it is? I need bigger nostrils.
Bigger nostril.
Do
holes.
we have like little nostril?
You put the
maximizers, like rods.
I tell you what it is. You put the other end of a screwdriver, not the Phillips head.
Yeah,
but the other end, and then you just stick them both in your nostrils.
And you just twirl it a little, so it's a slow stretch.
You don't even have to twirl, but yeah, whatever.
How long do you keep it up there for?
4.5 minutes.
Alrighty then. I'll give that a shot tonight when I'm bored after my 90-day fiance fiasco. Anyway, I don't know. I just feel like...
So what were you saying? You went to the doctors and you...
Oh yeah, she told me I couldn't take my mask. Oh, we need to keep our masks on here. And I'm like, okay, great. They took my blood pressure. My blood pressure when I first got there was 142/82.
Is that good?
No, that's high. Should be like 120/70. And so I had my appointment with the doctor and then, and he said, well, we're going to check your blood pressure again. At the end of the appointment, they rechecked my blood pressure. It was 117/75.
Which is better.
Yeah. And I said to the gal, I said, I don't believe it. She goes, it's the same machine. And I'm like, how can that be? How can it be so different? Although it's a new doctor for me. So, you know, I tend to get, I mean, even if I don't feel nervous, I think I carry that, you know, it's stressful.
That's what Dad told me one time, is that whenever he goes to, he says it's like a Jewish thing. That
what, your blood pressure goes up when you go to the
he's
doctor?
Like, oh, I don't fucking like the doctors. I go there, it's this Jewish thing where you know, all the Jewish people have it, where you don't like the doctors and you get stressed and they take your blood pressures too high. So.
I don't know that it's just a Jewish thing,
like,
because I'm not Jewish, and I
Dad.
kind of do the same thing. It's like,
you're kind of pigeonholing people there a little bit.
yeah. What's that?
I mean, look, I went to the gym this morning and I went probably around 9:30, 10. And it was the most unmasked people in the gym that I've seen thus far.
Yeah, I think people that, I mean, after I went to the doctor, I went to the 99-cent store and I took my mask and stuck it in my pocket. I'm just not going to wear them.
She ain't going to do it.
No, I'm not going to do it.
She ain't going to do it.
Again. And on top of that, you know, they say that this, even though the variant is more contagious, that it's less deadly, and that, I mean, I think, what do we have, like 127 cases, I think we had in LA.
Well, the other thing was that,
I mean, 127 cases, and they're telling us to mask up.
Well, they were also saying,
What?
though, that there was a statistic that came out, I think in LA County or California, but it was 99.2% of people that had COVID or wound up in the hospital or died were not vaccinated, which is like a pretty incredible statistic if you think about that. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, except, you know, you and I talked to you about this the other day. This, I feel like this country and the CDC has put all of its hopes on curing or getting rid of this pandemic on a vaccine instead of looking for therapeutic ways. And I'm going to tell you, if we had used some of the concoctions that are being used now that were available then, but poo-pooed by everybody. I mean, my God, if you mentioned hydroxychloroquine, you were like, you know, chased out of the medical profession. The same with ivermectin. I
went to high school with him.
Did you? Was he a good guy?
Ivor.
Yeah. Mectin?
He was nice.
Ivor M. Ecton?
No, it was his last name was Mectin.
Mectin.
Yeah, his father sold peaches down by the it was like a food mart.
A food mart.
Yeah, like a farmer's market.
Oh.
Like a farmer's mart.
A farmer's mart?
Yeah.
Was it
For short, it was called a fart.
Okay.
But
cool.
yeah, but Ivor.
Ivermectin. Listen,
yeah, Ivor, he was nice. He had the slicked back hairstyle. Had so much shit in his hair.
I'm gonna tell you. I'm gonna go over this again. I saw a news article online. The gal's name is Ivory Hecker. Ivory Hecker.
Ivermectin?
No, Ivory Hecker, and she was a Fox News reporter. I don't know for what Fox channel. She's not on like the big Fox News channel here. But, you know, we have Fox Channel 11 here. Everybody's got their own Fox in their city. So
some places actually have actual foxes.
Is that like a hot chick, or is that like
no, like an animal?
Like an animal.
Yeah, the animal.
I saw one
Hot
in
shit.
PV not long ago. A real fox, a red fox in PV.
Did it look like, what channel was he on?
I don't know. I didn't ask him. Anyway, she did the story. I think she quit her job as a news reporter for Fox because she did this story and she was not allowed to put the story on the air. And basically the story was about this guy, Dr. Joseph Varon. He's called the COVID Hunter. And he works out of Houston. He speaks like 9 languages. Excuse me. He's had a 4.4% death rate compared to 20% death rate in other hospitals because of his treatment. And basically what he treats you with, he used to use hydroxychloroquine, but then he changed over to ivermectin. So it's ivermectin, steroids, blood thinners, and a concoction of vitamins. And he has had success with curing this disease. But he's not allowed to
He not allowed.
He's not allowed to let that out there in the general public. The mainstream media will not let it be heard. Him and there's this other guy. Brett Weinstein or Weinstein. He's the host of Dark Horse podcast. I don't know what that is, but it's.
Well, he must be reputable if he hosts a podcast.
Well, no, I think he's a scientist.
Oh.
And he again was talking about ivermectin on his podcast, and YouTube took it down. Took down his whole podcast because he was mentioning ivermectin. So here's my theory.
Give it to us, Mom.
I feel like there are ways. I feel like there's a couple things going on here. There are ways to cure COVID and to keep people out of hospitals and off of ventilators. And I don't believe that any of the medical professionals around were using those medications to take care of people. It was like, somebody got really bad. They go to the hospital. First thing you do, you put them on a ventilator. This Dr. Verone says, oh no, you keep them off ventilators. There's,
Well,
so let me just finish with my theory. So my theory is that two things. Number one, in order to get emergency use of vaccine approval, you cannot have a cure to the disease. So is that what it's all about? We don't want to have a public cure to the disease so that we can push a vaccine. Keeping in mind, how many people have we lost just alone in this country from COVID? 600,000?
I think 600,000, yeah.
So, okay. I guess those people weren't that important as long as we could get the vaccine. So that's a possibility. The other thing is, I think a lot of this has to do with big pharma. And I'm sorry if this is boring and not fun.
Have you ever heard of Little Pharma?
No, but it would be nice if big pharma became little pharma.
Little Pharma, actually, they contract out the Keebler elves that were going to do your belly button surgery.
Oh, good. Yeah. I like that.
Obviously,
big pharma. Look at we've got what? 7 or 8 more billionaires this year because of Moderna and Pfizer and Johnson & Johnson vaccines. And so they're raking in the fucking money. They're pushing it. The government's pushing. Everybody needs to get a vaccine, regardless of what it might do to you. You need to get the vaccine. So, and then we're going to push a booster. You watch, you wait and see. This is a way for big pharma to be right smack dab in the middle of making a shitload of money. And you know what? It kind of disgusts me because I feel like we're playing with people's lives in so many ways, not treating them, those that have COVID, and putting an experimental vaccine out there without regard to what it could do to people. I mean, they want everybody to be fucking vaccinated. The WHO, which I don't really put much stock in, but they've come out and said 18-year-olds and younger should not be vaccinated because of this myocarditis we talked about.
I think
we talked about that on a previous podcast.
I think we talked about that on the podcast.
Yeah, we did.
I would love if you had I could see you doing remember Rush Limbaugh used to have a show, it was like him, but it would it looked like a radio show, but he was it was a TV show. I would love if you had something where you had your fantastic cappuccino outfit on.
I don't think Rush Limbaugh. There's that other guy though, that guy with the white hair. I don't know. Maybe Rush Limbaugh did. I don't know.
Are you thinking about Doc Brown?
No. God, what is the guy's name? He's very controversial. He's on now even.
Yeah.
He has a little studio audience. Yeah. They have fights and shit. Yeah. He's got white hair.
I would love for you
guy.
to do that. Yeah.
Get on my soapbox.
I think everything you're saying needs to be talked about, and I don't think that it's boring by any sense. But I think that, and I agree with a couple of the points that you're making. But I think that the hard thing is that if we take this all as this came out, COVID came out, and we didn't know what it was, right? If we believe that. Right, that was the thing. It was okay, here's COVID. We
didn't all know what it was, but I think that China knew what it was at the very beginning. Go ahead.
You get really sometimes you get
very loud.
You get very close to the mic, and then you get
because
really
I'm getting
loud.
very used to the shape of the microphone. I'm more comfortable with it now.
You're deafening. You're stroking it. Keep stroking it as I talk.
So take the fucking earpiece out of your ear. Put it in your other ear. That's the one you can't hear out of.
Keep stroking the mic.
I'm not going to stroke the microphone. Where were you?
If this came out, right, and it came out, no one knew what it was. And I think in the beginning, it was kind of holy shit, what do we do? And I think that was why in the beginning it was like, okay, we'll put these people on the ventilators, because what we were seeing was that these people were having problems, they were having lung problems. Excuse me. In the beginning, remember, it was like, that was the thing. It's hitting the lungs,
Right.
And then what we found after a little bit was that it was actually almost like a death sentence to put these people on the ventilators, right? Like that was a mistake, right? And then
most of the time it is, regardless of whether it's COVID or
right,
not.
yeah. Most of the time, people are not coming off the ventilators, right?
Yeah.
It is kind of like a last ditch effort. So I think that was like that was a mistake in the beginning, is not fully understanding what it was that we were dealing with. Then I think it got to a point where you started having all these doctors not all these doctors, but you started having like random doctors kind of pop up and be like, hey, so we found success in using whatever, right? Whether it's the hydroxychloroquine, the ibempacimab, or
ivermectin. You should remember that because he was your classmate.
He was
in
my
high
classmate,
school.
yeah.
For God's sakes.
we've
You're not
treated
doing
it,
Mr. Mectin any good.
We've treated it with Robitussin. We've treated it with clopidogrel,
Steroids,
Motrin, whatever,
vitamin
right?
D, zinc,
So there was all this thing like, don't take
vitamin C.
remember, don't take Advil, take Tylenol, right?
Right.
Advil could kill you because it's going to make, and then I think that came out eventually that was not quite on.
No,
yeah, there was something I read that
did
was
they
like,
debunk that?
I don't know if it was like fully debunked.
See, that's the problem is that our medical establishment has not. Oh, good. They scored. They tied the game.
No, Tampa scored.
Oh, Tampa. Are you rooting for Tampa?
Yeah, why not?
I've told you already. Why not?
We'll get into that in a moment.
Okay. So what was I saying?
I think it had to do with Ivor.
I know, but I can't remember. Can we go back and replay it?
No, we can't do that.
Okay.
We're live.
I can't remember what I was saying.
So you had all these doctors pop up, and I think that they were using things to.
Oh, I know what I was going to say.
Go ahead.
But they never come out and say, "Oh, by the way, we've disproved this." They,
I feel like
the medical professionals, they keep telling you, follow the science, follow the science, follow the science. And we keep hearing how the science is changing, but those medical professionals don't ever come out and say, okay, so now we know that masks don't work. Now we know that this doesn't work.
So I think what was happening though is that you were getting it coming out, but there wasn't one message, right? There was a message from the WHO. There was a message from the CDC. There was a message from, the beginning from President Trump. Now there's messages from President Biden. There was messages from Dr. Fauci. There was messages from Barbara Ferrer. There was messages from, from all these different people.
Barbara Ferrer,
I think it's pronounced Ferrer.
Our esteemed non-medical doctor.
But I think that
I'll move it away. You're always telling me that I'm not close enough
but
to it.
What I always tell you is that if you get closer to the mic, you can put your voice down. If you back up from the mic, you want to get your voice up. Now try it. You try it.
I'm so confused. I just don't know how to do this anymore.
So I think that we didn't have a clear message on it, right? It always was.
We still don't.
Right. And that's been the issue, right? So, and I think also what was happening is that you were seeing these cases that we didn't know what was going on, right? It's like, okay, so there's 99 cases of COVID that all react kind of the same way. And then you have one that is like, hits a completely healthy, 25 something year old who winds up in a coma and you can't figure out what's going on. Right. So you had all these kind of like, I like to call them medical mysteries, Well,
they're not medical mysteries, but I mean, they are, but it's like to be expected. I mean, it's kind of like, like now I'm contemplating the stupid surgery thing and, they give you like all the risks. These are all the possible risks. Even if only one person had that. Right. That's a possible risk.
Well, and that's one of the things with COVID, right? Is that COVID comes out and I think, what was it? We ended up finding out that it was like 98% of people that got COVID essentially were okay. They would recover.
And also we found out that most likely an asymptomatic person was not transmitting it to others.
Right.
So, but in
for
the longest time, that was
in the beginning, it was like,
you're asymptomatic, you've got to stay home.
You don't have to wear masks. Okay, now it was like, well, now we think you have to wear masks. Okay, well, hey, I think the big problem was asymptomatic people. It was like, well, shit, Tampa just scored again. It was like, oh shit, asymptomatic people. It's like, fuck, this could be. Everybody could have COVID and is spreading it wildly,
and
right?
we never know.
I will say though that even with my case, like when I got it, how I got it, by the time I had it, I did not
Which
know.
is it?
Riddle
I
me
got
this,
it.
Joshua.
Really? It's like, what the fuck?
When I had it by the time you gave it and had it too, who was the ooh poo that had A B doo doo?
Okay. So by the time you got it, had it, and did whatever you did with it.
By the time I had it,
yes.
right, I that was my first inkling that I had been exposed to it. You know, it was kind of like, okay, I didn't know that this person was sick until, you know, and she was not asymptomatic in any sense, but it was kind of like, oh shit, you know, by the time that she had tested positive and then I was feeling sick, it was like, okay, well, you know. So anyway, I think that there was all that stuff coming out, and I think that, yeah, we were moving with science very quickly, you know, and it was like, shit, what's going on, right? Then I think we got to the point with the vaccine where it was like, okay, hey, here's this vaccine. And I think what it was like, this could be promising. This could be something that could get the numbers down a little bit, you know? And I think it was always a thing where it was like, okay, well, either we're going to get the numbers down by this vaccine or we're going to get the numbers down because so many people had it. And then some people die and some people just get over it and they can't get infected again right away. Now we're learning that maybe they can't get, they might not be getting reinfected forever. And if they do, it becomes a very mild case, you know? But I think that there is something to be said about Big Pharma and the fact that Big Pharma, I mean, you know, look at the fucking flu vaccine, you know?
I know, but
when I was a kid, I mean, the flu was something, it was like, oh, how come Ivor is not in school? He's got the flu.
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
Everybody gets it. Yeah, I'm not happy with Big Pharma, and I think that our government should really control them. You know, when Trump was president, as much as people didn't like him, he did a lot of things as far as lowering the price for insulin for diabetics and also for EpiPens. EpiPens are like back to like $1,200 for an EpiPen, thanks to our new administration. I'm thinking maybe you have like fluid in your ear.
I'm like literally looking at the wavelengths.
All right,
you get
whatever.
When you get worked up. You're a decent.
When I get worked up, I should just move back, right?
Exactly. You get worked up, you get loud, and then you get even closer to the microphone.
I know because it's like
and then you sound like God, you know.
Oh, I like that. That's good. So anyway, yeah. The other thing that that really disturbs me about the vaccine thing, and I think it's great for people that are at high risk, but I'm very concerned. You know, they had congressional hearings this week where parents testified to the damage that had been done to their children from taking this vaccine. And the fact of the matter is that they are finding that it's not particularly safe for young people. So,
but it's like what we talked about.
But again, they hide it. You see, the WHO has come out and said, oh no, we don't recommend it for anybody under 18, but our news media will not put that out there.
Yeah, and because I think everybody, you have all these people who are all in bed with each other. And I think it's like, okay, well, we can't say this because if we say this, and you know, there should be one clear message. And if the message is
that's what they're doing, Josh. The one clear message is everybody should be vaccinated. We don't want to tell you about possible side effects.
Right, but that's not the right message.
Okay, exactly.
Right, like the message that needs to come out needs to be
honesty and transparency. For God's sakes.
Not only did the pandemic bring out the politicalness,
sure,
of this, which it should have never been political.
Never.
But then it brings out the problem with, you know, like you said, like there's 5 or 7 or 10, millionaires that became billionaires over this time. It shows that there is more to be made. There is more to do about the money and the whatever than it is about people's lives.
Yeah, follow the money, and the worst part about it is that these people that are following the money say it's all about saving people's lives, and it's not, and that's the really sad part.
And I think that it's very easy because I read about this myocarditis thing. Myocarditis, just so that we're aware and we're on the same page here, is something that it's not like you have myocarditis forever.
No.
It can go away.
Right.
And even if it's something that is affecting young people, say 18 and younger, it seems like in most cases they end up being fine,
Yeah.
And I think that we've
talked
about it on the podcast.
Yeah,
but with any medication, right, with any vaccine, with any whatever, there's going to be side effects. There's shit on the back of Motrin and Tylenol.
What would you do if it was your child? Because here's the thing: is I saw this lady testifying in front of Congress who had her daughter. I think her daughter was 12 or 14. This girl has a breathing tube, a feeding tube. She is just a fucking mess. And it continues to get worse and worse and worse for her.
From the vaccine.
From the vaccine. Her life is ruined. I mean, it's just ruined. So here's my question to you. If it was your child, I mean, I know the benefit outweighs the risk. The benefit always outweighs the risk until it's you or your children or your family that it affects.
And it's hard, right?
Like, it's like, okay, because I insisted on getting my daughter a vaccine, my daughter's life is basically over.
Look, we've talked about this with Accutane, something that I was on just recently, and also when I was in my 20s, and Sam was on Accutane as well. And it's a drug to help clear up acne and clear your skin up. But I remember when I did that in my 20s, I remember reading about these cases of like these, teenagers that,
committed suicide.
They like jumped off balconies and shit.
Yeah.
And it's like, so, it's like, what would you do if that was your child? Right? Like,
well, it was my child. You guys both took it, and I wasn't happy about that.
And I remember when I was on it, like, I remember Dad, like the first week or two of being on it.
How do you feel?
Yeah. Like he would like call me like randomly. He's like, hey, how you feeling? And I'm like, okay.
Well, you definitely don't want to go through something traumatic while you're taking it. Oh, wait, but you did.
But I think that, it's, again, I think with
you went through the pandemic.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it was
but
like,
I think that
I think you got pretty depressed there.
But who knows? But I don't know if that would, I could have been just as easily. I could have been just as depressed during that time with not being on Accutane, just, realizing like, look, to be completely transparent, there was a moment during the pandemic where, things got scary, right? It was like, you can't go, the beaches were closed, hiking trails were closed. There was, I think I had one friend that I was seeing, right? Because they were like, don't see people, don't talk to people, don't shake hands, don't hug people, don't eat, like this whole fucking thing, right?
Yeah.
And I remember, and I talked to you about it. I remember thinking, I was like, if this is how our lives are for the rest of our lives,
Give
right?
me the gun.
I don't want to do it.
Yeah.
I don't want to do it. We'll get in the Tesla, we'll drive it over a cliff, and we'll just be done with it, because that's not. And I've said it since the beginning. That's not that's quality of life, right?
Yeah.
Like when people used to say in the beginning, like, oh, this is going to be the new normal. It's like, no, it's not. No, it's not.
No, that's why I'm not wearing a mask inside.
We're going to get back to like, and we're already there, but like I knew all along, like we are a very social, race, so we hug people, we talk to people, we kiss people, we share drinks.
We smile at people.
Exactly.
And I'm going to tell you, that's the one thing that when everybody's masked up, you just can't tell a person's a person's smiling or not smiling. I mean, unless it's a huge smile and it makes their eyes all crinkle up. But, it's very important that we read people's expressions.
I gotta tell you.
And it's really important for kids to learn how to read people's expressions.
I mean, look, I live by that elementary school, and I every time I pull out of my driveway and I have to pass the elementary school, and if the kids are outside playing, they all have masks on. And I just think, man, that's just so fucked.
Yeah.
And I get it. I understand why, but it's such a fucked up thing. Like, a couple of weeks ago, I was with, I saw a couple of friends that I hadn't seen for months, and we were all hanging out, and it was the nicest thing to be like, to joke with each other and laugh and, touch each other's shoulder and and I was like, man, this feels good.
Yeah.
Like, wow, but I think that I don't want to get off track here, but to go back to what you were saying, like, I don't know what the answer is. And I've told some of my clients, like, if I had a kid, I don't know where I would go with that. And maybe the closer they are to 18, I would feel a little bit safer about it, than if they say we're 12.
Yeah.
Or
like
something.
I told you before, I think we've talked about it on the podcast. My issue with the DPT vaccine, the pertussis, the whooping cough vaccine with you guys. And I had to make decisions about it. Again, it comes to that, I don't want, if I look at the last 10 years in the LA County coroner's office and I see that 2 kids have died from a vaccine reaction, which is really hard to even get on a death certificate. But no kids have died from whooping cough.
Right.
My thought is, well, okay, so if I keep my child fairly isolated and we don't have any whooping cough, outbreaks, then maybe it's better for me. Maybe the risk of doing it is worse than the benefit.
Yeah, and that's where that's where everybody has to make their own decision. And I don't know what the right decision is. And I think it's different for everybody.
Well, and everybody out there that does it, stop shaming people for not getting vaccines. It's kind of like now I get on my Instagram, I get plant-based news or whatever. I get all sorts of vegan shit on my Instagram now. And they send you like pictures of poor animals being slaughtered. And it's like, don't fucking guilt me into being a vegan. If you want me to be a vegan, give me the benefits.
I did that on purpose.
Did you do that? I saw like little lambs in this little contraption. I'm like, again, don't fucking guilt me. I don't want to be guilted. Tell me the benefit of it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think that, I think we're at a point now where so many people have been vaccinated. And we've said, like, the vaccine, I don't think is a one-size-fits-all vaccine. No. And I think that that's one of the problems with it, is that I think that they're going to learn at some point.
Well, no medication is a one-size-fits-all.
Exactly.
But here's the other part.
But I think that I think that they're going to learn in the future, oh, well, maybe the kid needs half the, whatever. Or maybe someone who's, 65, who's 580 pounds, they need more, right? Like, I think that we're gonna because it's. I don't think.
I mean, it's possible that a child needs half dose. There are a couple things here. First of all, I heard that nationwide the teachers unions want every child to be vaccinated. And then my question is, if every child's vaccinated, can they go without masks? I don't think so.
Which, look, I
think they still have to wear masks and be in plexiglass bubbles. It's like
they're in hamster bubbles,
really.
But like, I understand that as well.
Oh yeah, the hamster ball. For someone, we'll go out to recess in the hamster ball.
For someone who works with clients on the daily, and people come in and I sit next to them. Essentially, I stand next to them while they sit. I feel better knowing that a client who comes in has been vaccinated.
Right.
And so I don't think that there's any, I understand these teachers being like, hey, this makes us feel better knowing that our students are vaccinated. Now, I don't know what the numbers are right now presently.
Do kids get the flu shot though?
I'm not sure.
Do they recommend the flu shot for kids?
I don't know.
I know for older adults they do, but
I don't know.
But
to go back to the whole big pharma thing, right? Like when we were all kids growing up, again, it was like, oh, well, Timmy's got the flu. He's going to miss a couple days of school.
Right.
It wasn't, oh, well, you have to get a vaccine for the flu.
Right.
When did the flu shot start? 10 years ago? 15 years ago?
I don't know.
I've
never had one.
Right. And all of a sudden it was like, oh, you got to get the flu shot. And it was like, wait, what? And so, yeah, I agree that we're going to probably get to a point where we see these pharma companies saying like, hey, well, you got to get boosters. You got to get COVID boosters. But I got to tell you, like, again, I follow these two scientists on Instagram, and, they don't have any stake in the race, Is that the saying?
Race in the steak.
They don't have any race in the steaks.
No, steak of the race.
They don't have any forks in the steaks.
Yeah.
And
they have nothing to lose. They can say whatever they want.
They're going through and they're reading these peer reviewed papers and stuff, and what they're finding is they're saying, they're like, look, we think that these the single, the double dose of the Pfizer, the double dose of the Moderna, the single dose of J&J, like the information that's coming back is showing that like the body has a response months and months and months later, But how do they see? That's my question, is because. And then the people that have COVID.
Because you have COVID, you have antibodies.
No, I don't have it right now. I have.
No, you had it. So you have antibodies. So your antibodies, my understanding is that at some point your antibodies disappear. And they actually go into like a T cell, immunity.
You say B cell?
No, T as in Tom.
B as in bomb.
So you have T cell immunity. But that may last a lifetime for you. But when you're doing this mRNA vaccine, you don't actually have antibodies. I don't know exactly. My understanding is that it's something that's in the cell that when it's exposed to the coronavirus activates and fights it off. No, I don't know. Am I wrong?
Yeah, something like that. There's something like.
So how do they test that? I guess is my question.
I think it makes it harder for the the spike proteins to bind to the whatever, so that the people don't get as sick because it doesn't have a chance to. I don't know. I mean, to be honest, they just said get the vaccine. I was like, all right, I'll get it.
You're an idiot. I'll tell you right now, if I had COVID, I would never have gotten the vaccine.
But that's the thing, though,
Ever.
right? Is that they're saying that.
And then I would have walked in stores and pretended like I did have a vaccine.
I got vaccine.
Absolutely.
You flash this. You're like, no, here's my vaccine passport.
Right.
It's really fast.
You know what? All you got to do is fucking make one. How hard is it to make one? You can write any fucking numbers on there you want. As long as you have the right sequence of numbers and letters.
You walk
right?
in there with like a crinkled napkin with some Sharpie pen on it. You're like, hey, this is my vaccine card.
Or just take a picture of one that you photoshopped.
Here, look, this is it. Here, right here. You can't see it.
And then show it on your phone. Just be like, hey, I don't want, it's like gold, these vaccine passport things, these vaccine cards. So I don't want to take it around with me and, risk losing it or.
Look, I don't think that there is, in this whole argument, right? I think that 100% it should not be about the pharma and the money, and it should be about people's lives. It should be about trying to protect people, and it should be about getting back to normal, right? Getting back to where we were before the pandemic, and that's what sucks about it. But I don't know what the right answer is, and I don't think that there is one. And I think that everybody has to make their own decision on now, even moving forward, the Delta variant. Do I have, to go back to how we started this whole conversation? Should I put my mask back on to walk inside of a business?
Nah. Not unless they make you.
And I think that that's, and look,
Are you going to wear masks while you're working now, or did you the last couple of days?
So I don't.
They recommended this on Monday.
Yeah, so I've actually started wearing condoms when I work, not masks.
Because it's that exposure you have.
COVID. It's called COVID penis.
In that area.
No, I mean, look, I haven't gone back. That's a joke, by the way. I don't wear condoms, so that'd be really weird. I have not gone back to wearing masks. I think that, my issue with them coming out and talking about the Delta variant is it's like, motherfuckers, you guys knew about this 2 weeks ago. You guys knew about this when you said
when you arbitrarily said, "Oh, we're opening up on the 15th."
So, it wasn't like the Delta variant just popped up fucking 7 days ago.
Pull that date right out of a hat.
Was there? So it's like, why not just say, "Hey, you can not wear a mask," or "Hey, we know that we were going to do this. However, but with the Delta variant, we think it's still safe in some indoor settings." To the messaging is so skewed and so fucked up, and I think that they've done such a horrible job with that.
Well, and again, in the state of California, this is highly political because Gavin Newsom has gotten so much shit from the way he's handled this whole pandemic, and now he's up for recall, and now he wants to make it look to you like life is back to normal in California.
Well, I think we had to. I mean, I think you look at all these other states, all these other cities that had been back to normal for months.
While we struggled here.
And you're going, guys, what's going on? Look, I went to down to Hudson House the other day, had dinner. They do a Taco Tuesday thing on Tuesday nights. And
get out.
Yeah, weird. We went on Wednesday. They were doing Taco Tuesday.
Okay.
And it was mildly uncomfortable inside with the amount of people that were inside. And granted, everyone was at a table, and it was like, okay, this is everyone. Because back before COVID, it was like, oh, people would just come in, they would try to order a drink at the bar, they couldn't get a table, they would stand, and it wasn't that.
Yeah.
But there was people inside.
Yeah.
And it was, but there was also.
But here's the thing: is you got to understand. If in fact what they're telling us that these vaccines are highly effective, then you don't need a mask.
Right.
The person who's not vaccinated would need a mask. And on top of that, you're not going to give it to them.
Right. And if I get it, I'm not going to get super sick.
You're not going to die.
But I'll tell you what the nice thing was is I looked at this and I looked at this place busy and people, getting food and getting drinks. And I was like, you know what? Good for them.
This is cool.
This is cool because now for the first time in probably 15 months, this restaurant is actually making money.
Yeah.
And, the people who are working, the from the cooks in the kitchen to the servers to the whatever, I was like, good for fucking them. And there's no way at this point, unless we go back into some fucking December of last year shit, that any of these, restaurants, salons, whatever, is going to go back to being like, oh, you want to close this down again? Okay. Because you said to me the other day, you said, oh, I think we're going to go back to lockdowns. I said,
bet we will.
There's no fucking chance. There's no way.
There are places that are.
I know, but but they haven't had the vaccine. They haven't had the rate of vaccines that we've had.
Australia's back on parts of Australia.
Yeah, but
Japan.
Australia locks down. Like Australia has like 3 new cases. They're like,
really
shut the whole fucking thing down. You know?
I know. It's like, what the fuck, you guys? You get weird.
I think that we're at a point now.
Did we talk about that story about the somebody? I'm trying to remember what it was, but they locked down this whole city because they had somebody, I guess, who had traveled. Oh God, I can't remember. But it turned out that the person didn't have COVID, but they thought that this person had traveled out of the country and had come back and maybe not gone into quarantine and then tested positive. And he worked at like this pizza place. And so they locked down the whole city. And then they later found out that this guy didn't have COVID or he hadn't been in this area or whatever.
Yeah, bad allergies.
Yeah, it was like
you stay in the hotel for 14 days, don't even leave.
It's like I mean, they, again, like you said, they, all they need is 3 cases. They lock down the whole country.
Yeah, I think it's going to be very difficult to see. And I'm only focused really on California and LA County, but I think it's going to be really difficult to see us go back to that because the fact that now some of these businesses are starting to thrive again. I can't imagine them being okay with saying like, oh, okay, yeah, let's just shut it down. And like I said, unless we were to go back to a point where it was like, wow, this is really bad. Where we have, I mean, look, at one point, I think it was like, 25,000 cases of COVID, brand new cases every single day. It was like, fuck, this is bad, And now you said, it's like, okay, what do we have? 200 and fucking something cases,
No, I think 127 is what I heard.
Right.
And something like that. That was a few days ago. 127 of the Delta variant. So it's like, okay, let's lock down the whole fucking state. You know?
I mean, look, I think they're trying to get ahead of it. Which I get, but at this point, it's just like, guys, you got to figure something else out. You've told us no masks. You told us it's okay. You told us to get vaccinated. We're safe. Now you can't come back now and say everyone should wear the masks.
Yeah, our life, life's not changing for you guys.
And also, I don't want to hear 6 months after everyone gets vaccinated, be like, well, now there's a booster shot. It's like, come on.
Yeah.
Do better.
Well, and I wonder who pays for the booster shot. These all of the vaccines we got were free to us. Mm-hmm. But who pays for the booster?
I'm sure it goes
I wonder what the government actually got charged per vaccine.
I don't know.
I wonder how much they had to pay for that. I mean, you heard all those stories about vaccines that were thought out and had to be thrown away.
Well, even now, I think that they were saying they've learned that the vaccine actually you could have it out for longer. I mean, I think it was like something like, oh, the vaccine could be out of its freezer for like 25 minutes and it just fucking turns to mush. Now I think it's like, I think they said it's like, oh, it can be out for like 3 days or something. But anyway, let's wrap this all up. I don't think that, for me at least, I'm still wearing a mask when I go into like a Whole Foods or a Target or something like that. And I think
not me.
That's fine. That's okay.
I'm shopping at Ralph's at noon, and I'm not wearing a mask.
Bring it on.
My mom said, I dare you. Bring it on. Bring on the COVID. I'm just not going to do it.
And look,
although I did pick up groceries Wednesday, and it was like really weird. This gal came out, and she's never brought my groceries out before, so. I don't know if she's new. She's a bit older than the normal kids that bring my groceries out. But, normally they bring them out and I open up the back of my car and I help them put them in. And so I told the gal, I said, so I'll just start putting this stuff in. She goes, well, no, that's okay. I'll do it. And I said, well, I can help you. And she goes, it would be better if you didn't so we could keep our 6 feet distance. And I'm like, well, I've been vaccinated. Have you? And she didn't answer me.
Yeah.
And I said, so you're not going to tell me? I said, okay. I said, I didn't think we were doing the 6 foot thing anymore, which we're not.
No, but whether she's been vaccinated or not vaccinated, that's a decision that she can make. She's allowed to say,
right,
hey,
I know, but it's like, I know, but protocol is that we don't have to stay 6 feet apart
totally,
anymore.
But that's on, please don't touch my hand. But that's on her. You know what I'm saying? Like if she's like, hey, if she has not been vaccinated and she's like, hey, I don't.
Yeah, she wasn't very nice about it.
Yeah, you should write a letter to Ralph's.
No, I'm just hoping she maybe goes and works in a different department where she's not around people all the time. I mean, work behind a plastic,
Bubble.
Which by the way, they've done like studies on those plastic partitions that are everywhere now, and they say they don't do a damn bit of good.
I'm sure they don't.
It's like, and I saw the funniest thing yesterday on TV where the orchestra and the I don't know where this was, the orchestra and the choir, they have like these little pop-up tents. They're like green. They're like 6 feet apart, and they're in this room like a gym, and they're playing their instruments in their little pop-up tent.
Well, I remember.
It's like, what the fuck, man? Are you serious?
I remember they would do, during like the height of COVID, like the Chick-fil-A drive-through line. They would have people outside, because the Chick-fil-A people would be outside.
Yeah.
And they had these like.
They almost look like. What are you going to Chick-fil-A for?
No, like I would drive if you drove down.
Oh, that's right. You drove by it. Okay.
Artesia.
I get it.
But you could see these people outside. They would have like it was like a box. It was like a clear box that they would wear.
Were in?
And then their hands would come out, and they would like have the little iPad to like take your order. And then they would have like a flap that would, and you're just like, this is insane.
It's like it's kind of like when you go like to play it against sports, and they have that guy out there, in the costume with the sign. It's kind of like one of those.
I'd be like the worst job. I feel like it'd be so hot.
Oh yeah, isn't he like in a gorilla suit or something?
Yeah, no, sometimes I think he's a comic book guy.
So real quick, I know we don't have time to talk about it, but John McAfee, what do you think about that?
I used to buy the McAfee virus scanners.
Did you?
I don't know. I don't even know who he is, and we don't even have time to get into it.
You don't know who John McAfee is?
Do you know who James Badaba is?
No, but John McAfee created the spyware. You know.
I just said that. Didn't I just say that? I said, yeah.
Well, I just think it's kind of interesting that he
went to go work for Apple now?
No, he's in jail. The U.S. government's after him for tax evasion, I believe. And so they caught him up with him in Spain. He was in jail there. He was supposed to be extradited back to the United States. He was found dead in his cell. And he had put out a lot of really cryptic stuff saying like, if you find me dead, it's not at my own hands, and kind of like, I've got all this information that I'm going to, expose to the world. And it's like kind of like one of those panic button things, like, oh, I'm dying, so I'm going to hit the button.
Yeah. I mean, look, I think that there is and I don't, we could turn this into a whole fucking episode.
Maybe we should.
Dun, dun, dun.
Dun, dun, dun.
Join us next week
for The Spy Who Killed McAfee.
I think that there is definitely, I think money and power really like rule what this country. And I think that when you hear about shit like this, or even Jeffrey Epstein, everything comes out. The guy's a piece of shit.
I don't know who he is.
Yeah. He did the Epstein security software.
Did he? Okay.
The
Epstein date rape?
Date rape, yeah.
Yeah.
The
drug.
But when you hear about things like that, and you see someone like him who has these photos of him with Donald Trump and the Clintons, and
not the Clintons, just Bill.
Oh, I don't think. I think there was photos of them. No, I think there was photos.
Oh, maybe. But I don't think Hillary was ever on the plane or went
but I'm just saying,
went to Lolita Island.
Totally, but I'm just saying. I think that's pronounced Underage Woman Island.
Something like that.
But I think that when you see things like that, and you realize when it all comes out, and it's like, well, look at what this person has done.
Yeah. And
then you see these photos, and you think to yourself, well, wait a minute. Well, these people had to have known some shit.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden Jeffrey Epstein winds up dead before he can, go get put on trial or whatever.
Do you think he killed himself?
I think that there was probably pieces of that.
I mean, yeah, but it's kind of weird because like the camera in his cell was disarmed or wasn't working, again, and the guards that were supposed to be guarding him were like sorry, I get excited. I like these little spy type things.
It's so funny. You'll do shit like this. You're talking and you're like, Yeah, no, I mean, isn't it crazy? I don't even know how it could happen. It was like the guards in the cell.
I mean, they took a break at the same time, or they both fell asleep or something. It's like, come on. It's like in a perfect world, if all the stars lined up, then Jeffrey Epstein could have been killed this way. But look,
I think that what we've also seen is that it's very possible for all the stars to line up, right? I always think it's so interesting when you go back to the Kennedy assassination, and you look at that and for all the kit and caboodle, it probably just was Lee Harvey Oswald that shot him from that building.
I think it's the Chicago mob, but that's okay.
And
I think they had something to do with it.
And if you look at it, you take it apart and you go, I mean, I think back to it, right? I think about all these pieces of it, which is, the motorcade was supposed to have a different route, right?
Yes.
Kennedy, the car was supposed to have a bubble top. Kennedy didn't want the bubble top. He didn't want the Secret Service to be on the car with him. He wanted the Secret Service to be behind him on a separate car, right?
But the route changing could have been the mob's doing.
Totally. But you think about it, had there been a Secret Service man on the car with him?
See, but that's
I just got goosebumps because had there been a guy on the car, he probably would not have died. You know what I'm saying?
I hate to say it, but he probably would have been a shitty president.
I think he was pretty good.
He was kind of wishy-washy. And on top of that, him and his whole family, as we now know.
Crooks.
Crooks filled with scandal. I mean,
But it was the thing, though, that at that time, I think to have a young, energetic,
protected by the press president, attractive.
I think, I mean, he was. I mean, you look at photos.
He had a beautiful wife,
right? It was the picture perfect thing, right? Now, granted, he was off banging Marilyn Monroe all
That's
the time,
right. And who knows who else,
right? Well, he's like, okay, Susan, Jackie's gonna be out from 7 to 9. I got 2 hours.
I would bet you money that to be a president of the United States and have sex in the Oval Office is probably like a real big power trip,
Oh, I wouldn't want to do it. No, because I would just be like, how many cameras are in this Oval Office?
No, you're the fucking president. There's no cameras in there. They can't camera.
The woman comes in here and the two
look at Bill Clinton and Monica Lewinsky.
The two Secret Service men waiting outside the office. They're like, okay, Tommy, Jimmy, you just stay out there, watch the door. I was going to take about 15 and a half minutes.
2.5 minutes is probably more like it.
I think that if you look at that whole scenario. And you look at even how I mean the shots. I mean he fucking got hit in the head. It was a headshot.
Yeah.
I mean that's incredible.
Oswald was a sharpshooter, wasn't he?
No, he was a bad shot. That's why they didn't think it. They were like, how does this guy making a But anyway.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, are you totally satisfied with the whole outcome of that and what the whatever commission? Yeah,
the Warren Commission.
Warren Commission, yeah.
I mean, I'm just as satisfied with the Warren Commission as the commission on the COVID-19.
Well,
origins.
the COVID-19 thing is not over yet, for sure.
All right, so look, let's do this.
Okay, let's finish this up. But I'm going to say one thing: Gavin Newsom recall. I believe it's September 14th. We will be voting.
Remember what I was like? Hey, let's not get too political on the podcast.
So no, I'm just saying you guys need to remember what this man has done to our state during the last several months. Now he's given away everybody. Oh, the big scam now. You guys you didn't pay your rent for, a year and a half. The state's going to come in and pay your rent. It's the big Gavin Newsom giveaway. He's going to try to buy votes, but we have to.
And if you go to his house, he has very nice oranges that are growing off the orange tree in his backyard, and he gives you some oranges.
And does he? And
they're called gruesome oranges.
And his children go to private school, so they've been in school all along. And he eats at really expensive restaurants, even though he tells us not to. And, he's just a great guy. And
I think that's where he does his laundry. He does his laundry at expensive.
He only does his French laundry there, okay? Come on now. All right, so that's it. That's all I'm going to say about Gavin this week. Maybe next week I'll have some more interesting facts.
So let's do this. So let's end this here.
Okay.
Because it's getting long. And then next week, if you want, and I know you do, we'll go down the conspiracy theories. And we'll do a whole conspiracy episode.
We could do the Ted Kennedy too. Chapakawa.
I don't know the Ted Kennedy thing. We could talk about.
Did he kill the gal and he ran off the bridge and the driving drunk and killed the gal?
What about
are you serious?
What about John F. Kennedy Jr.?
You don't know that
the plane crash.
Is there a conspiracy theory around that? I liked him. He was a good guy. But there isn't. I mean, I've seen specials on that.
I think there was a lot of pieces to that.
I think Shark Week is next week.
Perfect.
Just so everybody knows.
All right, so let's end this. So you guys can find us on Instagram. It's at My Mom Sandy Podcast. You guys can always shoot us an email, which we haven't gotten for a while. MyMomSandyPodcast@gmail.com. And
let's talk about the fucking Stanley Cup playoffs.
Talk about that next week because it could be over. And
it will be over. This will be game 3 that they're winning. This is Friday night.
This is like Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay is playing against like a team in like, oh, Jesus.
Like a minor league team.
They're playing like a Trash Pandas.
And this is why, because when you said to me, why aren't you watching it? 2 things. Number 1, I don't want Tampa Bay to win 2 years in a row. As I've said before, maybe on a podcast, the only team that I want to win 2 years in a row would be the LA Kings.
Or the Anaheim Ducks, right? You're a Ducks fan.
No, I am not a Ducks fan at all.
The San Jose Sharks, I think.
No. You
like the teal. You like the teal.
No, I don't like any of those teams. So the only team that I want to repeat is the LA Kings.
You get so worked up and you talk so loud. It's crazy.
The Tampa Bay Lightning, I don't want them to repeat. But having said that, this fucking series is a fucking joke. We're in game 3 and the Montreal Canadiens are like stinking it up. And by the way, the last time they played in the Stanley Cup Finals, guess who they beat?
LA Kings.
LA Kings,
If
1993.
Montreal loses
Wayne
tonight,
Gretzky.
that's the series.
That's it. Unless they have the power of the Kings.
They're not doing it.
And I don't think that they do because they're just like playing like shit, man.
All right, so we have a new episode that comes out every Tuesday. Thank you guys for listening. Thank you guys for the support, and we appreciate it. Be safe out there. Wear a mask if you're concerned, or if you have not been vaccinated. But if you've been vaccinated, you don't want to wear a mask.
Do what you want to do. We're open. We're open for business. All right, very good.